And we are once again back, everybody, back with another CBC podcast. We are starting off with two members. We might be joined by three, or I don't know, maybe a fourth. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, this is the weekly show. We got a bunch of good topics here today. For members, we're going to talk about the box office results for Captain America: Brave New World, and a bit of a spoiler cast in there as well. And look at that, right on time. I said literally, I bet you he's going to join us right in the intro, and there we go. So. I'm just introducing everybody, but hey, before we get to the rest of the show, we got some good topics for you, and of course, I am as always your host, Armin. You guys can find me right here at all the link trees, and as always, I am not joined alone. I am joined by Mitch over to this side.
Hi, you can follow me on the thingies.
The thing,
there,
yeah.
down there.
I'm wearing my Iron Fist. It's topical, okay? It's topical for today. Yeah.
Imagine, can't relate. But yeah, you can go follow the Mitch 692 YouTube channel. New Sprout Talk for Final Fantasy 14 dropped Monday, just gone
at some point.
Yeah, it was somewhere there. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I talk about the Heaven's Ward patches leading into Stormblood. So.
Oh, there we go. Okay. You guys can check that out. And before I introduce him, we do have our latest gaming podcast out. I will make sure it's one of the things. It'll pop up somewhere, wherever. But Tristan is with us as well.
Yeah, I hate spring.
Yep.
We're not in spring yet.
No, for me.
For you, yeah.
For me.
Oh, yeah, I forgot California's on its own little biome in it.
Yeah, it's like it's really warm around this time, but at night it gets really freezing cold. So, But yeah, I got some videos. I do have a Lost Media video out, and to talk a little bit about, which was a surprise that we're getting a lot of comic book news really early because it usually starts around March.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a video out for IDW's new Godzilla series.
Oh, nice. I will say, like today, they dropped a new concept art and art for the new Batman #1, and it's almost yeah. And I'm tempted to get back in, but I just know within 6 issues it's going to lose its focus, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm dropping this. So I need to wait. I need to wait on this. But
so a fraction of Batman is a Zdarsky on Captain America. That's quite a
yeah. I'm interested to see. I love the new costume, the blue on it. It's great. Like it looks good. So
Batman should always be gray and blue. I'm sorry.
Agreed. Even if it's dark gray, just it works better than black Kevlar. So, yeah. So with that out of the way, what we are going to do is we're going to jump into our first topic here. So, let's get to that. Okay. So the Defenders are slowly going to start making their way back into live action. This comes out from Marvel Television Head. He was talking about Daredevil Born Again. That's the next thing around the corner. It's like 2 weeks away. So talking about it, we had Nate Moore, and we even had some other executives all be like, so Daredevil is the start of the return of the Defenders, but in due time, we're aiming to bring all of them back in live action, and that's what they're going to work on. So
are you sure? Because I wonder which Iron Fist they're going to do, because
they will pick up straight from where Netflix left off, but it's not going to be what's his face.
So it's going to be a different Danny?
Well, it'll be Danny, but it won't be.
I have a feeling he's staying. Finn Jones.
That's it, Finn Jones. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but I wasn't sure. Yeah,
I have a feeling he's staying. I'm telling you.
No, he's
because I'm just trying to think of the synergy with they have, because I think currently right now, since with everything going on, Iron Fist isn't Danny. So
right,
no.
I mean,
if they bring Finn Jones back, he's lasting like 5 episodes. He's dying.
I mean, like the comics, like Ghost Rider, there's multiples, so it's like you just play around with that idea.
I know it's just with the synergy, because the current Iron Fist is what's going on right now, and they're trying to get more stuff, because with the game, a lot of characters that didn't have comics are starting to get comics now because of that game, with all the news breaking out. That's why I'm wondering if they're going to continue with Danny.
Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of got to have him come back at least to wrap up that story or pass it off. So, it's an interesting angle to take, because if you look at the Defenders as a whole, there was a great idea there for the Defender series that ended up falling apart, which I think Marvel Studios could rectify by trying to bring more focus into it, and this time having somebody not embezzle a bunch of money. Because Scott Buck and Jeff Loeb, they spent $18 on Iron Fist season 1, and it shows. It shows. So
a lot of that was Netflix. Let's be honest.
There was a lot of weird stuff happening with that series. But like, you look at everything that they're doing with Daredevil season 1, or Born Again season 1. I think the evidence is there. We're laying the foundation because a lot of people, again, despite what people say, and I've seen people be like, 100 million people watch Daredevil. No, they didn't. That series tapped out at like 16 million individual accounts watching it. So out of 290 million Netflix users, it's not there. Loki tied it on the MCU side. So introducing somebody to Iron Fist is going to be like, who is this?
And it may get a boost with there's an Iron Fist because of the game, because of they're trying to synergize everything.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm wondering, like, if down the road that if they're gonna do the Defenders, they're gonna have other characters like Cloak and Dagger, because from what I've been hearing, people have wanted to get some more stuff on them, because at this point in time, Marvel doesn't really have anything on Cloak and Dagger.
No, they don't.
To be fair, when 10 years ago, they didn't have anything either.
Yeah, they barely had anything when the TV series kicked off, and it was like
there was 13 issues when that came out.
It's kind of weird when you have something to advertise your IP, and it's when you don't think it's going to take off, and you need stuff, and you don't have anything for them.
It's a tale as old as the industry of comic books and synergy.
It's not necessarily a bad thing though, because it means you're not trying to force it.
That's true too.
You also skip the embarrassment of if it doesn't work out how you want it to work out. You haven't just got like a surplus of stuff that no one's going to give a shit about.
Well, also, like, I look at this whole thing, like, what the core Defenders, right? So you got Daredevil, he's back. Let's be clear about this. Jessica Jones will be second. Luke Cage will be third. Iron Fist will be, there's probably Misty Knight, Colleen. Iron Fist will be like a ninth ranked or return. And that's not because
let's just make Iron Fist a series of following Colleen and wondering why Danny's dead. No,
they should honestly do that.
Let's do that.
Like,
that sounds good.
Danny in the comics serves a purpose, and there's a whole end of life cycle to Iron Fists, which they should just address straight in the comics. And I get it. Kevin Feige wanted to do Iron Fist phase 1 and phase 2, and it got stolen from him. But at this point, can you recover off of 2 bad seasons? Probably not.
Well, if they do it like how they're supposed to, with I think the premise is that Iron Fist is supposed to die, but for some reason Danny wouldn't die until now. Finally, he did. So they could use this as a premise to pass it on to the newest Iron Fist if they want to go forward with that.
And since the newest Iron Fist, he's a creation specifically to appease to Asian audiences, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's fine. He's a great Iron Fist. If you pull that angle with Marvel Rivals and all that hype, I think this would be like, people are now demanding more Luna Snow.
Yeah, which is really funny because she's been like in only one series, which is a team series, and outside of that, she's a game exclusive character.
She like Agents of Atlas or something like that?
Yeah,
it was forever ago.
Yeah, Agents of Atlas was their I guess they're specifically Asian.
It's all Southeast Asians, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think like Kamala, like she was a auxiliary teammate as well because she was in a couple issues as well. But yeah, they could do that. I mean, I could see that because from that market, originally like the character, I'm blanking on his name, but he was called Swordmaster, and that didn't do so well. So so they moved him over to being the new Iron Fist, and he took off, especially with the game, because you actually get to see his personality more when he interacts with all the characters.
Also,
so I would like that. from
It's
a
also a
TV
good
show.
comic book run. I
Yeah.
picked it up as an Iron Fist fan. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, so I think there's rehabilitation to happen to all the Defenders. Punisher is also going to need a giant revamp because his 2 seasons are boring. I mean, it's the best Punisher we've gotten, but they missed the mark on it by, again, cheaping out and making Jigsaw's scars eternal demons or whatever the hell they talked about. I remember looking over at my wife when they dropped that line, and it was the most disappointing groan I've ever heard from somebody watching something Marvel. I was like, "Oh, you felt that? Imagine me right here." It's like, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's like you have a ton of like mob bosses and stuff in the MCU or comics as a whole to pick from, and you do that to that character.
Yep, because you didn't want to do $10 worth of prosthetics that cosplayers can do better. It's kind of amazing, but that was it. So, so we're probably going to get hints of who's coming. There's going to be references. I mean, there's already references in like the trailer for Daredevil Born Again of Luke Cage. They're talking about what's going on in Harlem, so they'll drop some hints, I'm assuming. Season 2 seems like that's when it's actually going to happen. Like they're going to come back in live action. So stay tuned. We'll talk about it. So we'll see what happens with Daredevil Born Again. Believe it or not, the Earth is collapsing within itself as Snyder fans have turned on Zack Snyder because he was hanging out with James Gunn, by the look of it, at either James Gunn's house, or some people are saying DC Studios. Other people are saying it's AI generated and James Gunn is lying. The copium and meltdown that I saw online last night was nothing short of amazing and the funniest thing I've seen in a while.
I'm shocked the original internet cult is having a meltdown over
It's
nothing.
It's just it's weird. It's like they're not like, you wouldn't see two people be enemies unless they really hate each other.
Yeah,
and from the looks of it, they don't look like they hate each other, and it's just they're just hanging out. That's literally all they're doing.
I mean,
So they've said for so many years that they're friends.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got nothing. They talk to each other quite a lot. Like
it's like it's not like Snyder didn't do anything to ruin any of Gunn's projects, and he didn't do anything to ruin any of Snyder's projects. So why would they hate each other?
Like Zack Snyder wouldn't even be in this if they didn't write or James Gunn didn't write the script for Dawn of the Dead, and then Zack Snyder was lined up and they worked together on that film. Like, like, guys, it's actually shocking to me how this has become now. Has Zack Snyder betrayed us? And now there's speculation he's meeting to work on a film or something. And like, you know what?
I hope not. It's the one time I'm going to agree with him. I really hope not.
So here's the thing. Out of all the projects they have coming up, right? I could see Zack Snyder serving as either a co-director or a cinematographer for The Authority. I think he would be a good pick for that.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I can see him doing it. I don't think he'd be good for it. He's not good for much.
I mean, Zack Snyder, if you can focus him and not let him Rebel Moon something, which Rebel Moon is probably the worst thing I saw in the last couple of years. I think you could get something good out of him. Again, Dawn of the Dead. He showed with focus and being pointed at something. He can do it.
Even that was like 20 plus years ago.
Yeah,
now
he's got
like this modicum of power, and he thinks he's owed something.
Yeah,
reason.
Yeah, that's true.
I think his stuff can work, but it needs to be in a very specific way. I don't think that's the way going, like visually and aesthetically.
Yeah,
because Snyder's never done anything that doesn't look like a Snyder movie.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just weird because did we lose audio here?
No, we're good. Now I got you guys.
Yeah. It's just weird because like for Snyder, he's like the one that created this whole mess in the first place, because the quote unquote cult here wouldn't be the way it is as if he was doing backhanded comments or being passive aggressive on things and then saying, well, I didn't do that, and yet still egging them on, saying that if potentially they do this and this company will pick up the IP when it's not even theirs in the first place, and the like. So It's just really weird for this. Like, how many times has this been where Zach has done something potentially bad to where people have said he betrayed us when um you don't really put your faith in directors as a whole, because they are a person and they have their own wants and needs, and they'll do whatever, not so much that they'll do whatever they can to get what they want, and damn everybody else.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's been an ongoing cycle for him. Like him and David Ayer. It seems like everybody that was with the DCEU, even Patty Jenkins is out there every time she's doing an interview. She's like complaining about how she was treated and what happened and deserves another shot and protest and all this.
It's weird when, like, you get directors who normally when something, like if they made a movie that bombed, they would just move on to something else, but be it something bigger or very, very small. But now they see like this online knee-jerk outrage, and they see an opportunity to capitalize it and fail upwards if they can. So they'll say whatever they need to say to their fan base to drum up something, so a company will bend the knee to get them to shut up.
Right.
And it's just really weird, because like for Ayer, for all of his like superhero works, they're pretty bad. Like nothing, him saying that there's a cut that they won't let me do that'll make it even better. I'm like, no, it'd probably just be a longer, horrible movie that you just made because of all of the choices you made that didn't work for an adaptation that was in good faith for what they're trying to make.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with all that. Like, we're in an interesting position. Like, if Zack Snyder was to get something, I wouldn't mind it. But like you said, then you drag the toxicity back in there, and then it's just going to get out of hand, like completely out of hand. And then people are going to be demanding a hostile takeover, and
it's just like,
it's not worth it.
Like, for example, with like 300, I wouldn't mind a movie like that. It's not like the best movie, but it looks cool. And if you could do something like that, I wouldn't mind.
I mean, isn't that the highlight of Zack Snyder's filmography? It looks cool. Like that's
that's what he does. That's what he can do. He's proven that over and over again.
He went to school he was specifically first going to be a cinematographer. Then he moved to a director, and it shows. Like he can set up a shot where you're like, "Yup, that is like the lighting, the harsh lighting, the shadows on his film, like they look so good." But then dialogue and plot happens, and you're like, "Oof."
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's also if he makes a movie, everyone's going to say it's made with AI.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's just what AI looks like, and
I mean, literally, Mid-Journey's models were built off of Zack Snyder submissions. Like that's why type in Superman, just type in Superman action shot, and Mid-Journey will give you Henry Cavill, Zack Snyder shots. It's
wow.
It's how it goes. So, if anything comes of this, we'll talk about it. I'm assuming nothing will, but if something is, they might as well set the DCU on fire, because it's just going to bring a toxic fan base over that's never going to let it down. So
no.
Yeah.
And it's about time we stopped validating those people.
Yeah. Time to move on. And speaking of moving on, Marvel Studios has moved on with 3 projects. So Terror Inc., Strange Academy, and Nova have all been canceled. But there is something here. Nova is the one that's not entirely dead. It's canceled and on hold while they look at what to do with Nova and if they can change it.
I thought all 3 were paused. No.
It seems like Terror Inc. and Strange Academy are probably never going to happen.
It's like all of them are on hold, but out of the 3, Nova is the only one that still probably has some legs. So it's like they saw DEI and they went no.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I was like kind of hopeful that Strange Academy would take off, because I wanted to see more of Wong and seeing how they would be able to teach the next generation of wizards.
That would have been what Wong, America, and no doubt Madison.
Apparently, according to, and like this is kind of backed up by them, Nico from the Runaways was going to join. He was going to be in the series as well, so that's an interesting one as well. And obviously that's a perfect character, but here's what I think the problem is. Has Strange Academy happened within a year after Multiverse of Madness, you could have worked it in. But starting production, let's say this year, post-producing for a year, releasing this in 28 at the earliest, America Chavez isn't going to be a kid. She's going to be a full-grown adult who knows how to use her powers by that point. Like, you're kind of in an interesting position with it.
I mean, how old was she when that movie came out? Like 15, 16?
Yeah, and I think she was like 16 in the movie. So she's going to be like, what, like 20, 23-ish by the time it comes out?
These young Avengers are looking to be slightly older.
Yeah, they're going to be just Avengers at this point. Terror Inc. This is an interesting one. We never heard anything about this. And Deadline just goes, oh, yeah, this was going to be a series starring a bunch of the darker monsters. It sounds like this would have been the Elsa Bloodstone series almost. Like, werewolf probably in it, Man-Thing, because they made that giant animatronic in CG. And, boy, that's a waste because that hasn't happened since.
My boy. So much better.
Yep.
Secret Wars in Man-Thing does deal with the multiverse stuff, so
exactly, he'll be in that easily.
He better be.
I know, right? And the biggest casualty of all of this, which everybody wants to talk about, is Nova. Now, here's the thing. Like, here's the problem here. Nova was going to be, any way you slice it, $30 to $50 million an episode. And Nate Moore just said Marvel TV going forward is everything we renew. We want one season a year, which is why he just confirmed Daredevil Born Again next year, season 3, probably the year after. They want to get back to the old model because they realize that's where, the money is. Producing Nova at, let's just say optimistically, $25 million an episode, it's going to cost as much as a film. There was no way. Absolutely no way.
Make it. Why Nova was ever going to be a show, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
they have no big space franchise anymore because Guardians is done and quote done. It's obviously going to come back at some point, but you've got nothing for space. You're not doing anything with Captain Marvel, and besides her last movie, put her on Earth, so she's out of space.
I mean, if they need something, that can bring people to the season, I don't just do a Rocket Raccoon series.
That would be expensive.
I know. I'm just saying.
That would be so expensive.
I think.
But do you get people watching though?
I think what we're seeing right now is Disney has realized the ABC Netflix model was the correct way to go. Like, and what we're hearing now is Dave Filoni's Mandoverse film is essentially being fast-tracked to shoot next year. That's going to wrap up the Mandoverse. No more Ahsoka seasons, no more Mando seasons. Because again,
aren't they doing Ahsoka season 2?
That after that, yeah, this is when the movie takes place, and then nothing after it. Like all these seasons are costing 100 to 200 million. They don't want to spend that when for 200 million you can make 4 TV series of Daredevil, 4 seasons. So I get it. It's a pivot in the shift of production. Again, I get what they're doing, but a part of me wants to just look at them and go, how did you not realize this was never going to work in the first place? Because we all could have told you it was never going to work. Like,
I mean, in fairness, they did come out swinging with Mando, so they spent a lot of money and got a huge cultural shift of a show there. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we're going from stuff like Mando back to the Wizard.
Yeah.
Just bring Cloak and Dagger back. I don't even care if it's those specific 2. Just bring Cloak and Dagger back. That's all I want. They're perfect for a show. They're designed for a show.
Their show was perfect. And I just looked it up. All of Cloak and Dagger was shot for $42 million.
And it looks it because they didn't do a damn thing in that show.
It looks it, but also remember, they got a huge, massive incentive and tax write-off and a return because the series was shot in Louisiana. And if you shoot there, you get like a massive reimbursement and tax write-offs because they want to move productions there. So chances are that
New Orleans.
I think it was both.
Location.
I thought they used both. I could be wrong on that. I could be confusing it with something else.
It's been
maybe
a while.
Hellstrom or something. Yeah, I can't remember. Something shot in Louisiana or around there to.
I forgot about Hellstrom. I was
substantially
about to
cut
say they
costs.
didn't make that show, but they did. Oh my god!
And also, yeah, you're right. New Orleans was all on location shoot.
Yeah, it's really hurting for shows. Why don't you just bring back Squirrel Girl? Because they got the actor who was supposed to play her for Squirrel Girl as the VA for the game.
And she thick, and we know that thick Squirrel Girl sells now. So, yeah.
I mean, I could have told you that a decade ago, but
because I was surprised
when ready for that.
Yeah, because I was surprised when people said that she's finally got to play Squirrel Girl in the game when she got kicked to the curb.
That means getting back the entire New Warriors.
Man, just bring her back.
I mean, the best thing New Warriors had going for it was that Keith David was going to play MODOK, and then that didn't happen. So
all you got to do is just call it, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl for that TV series, and if it follows her solo series, it's more along the lines of like everyday life with superheroes. So
you just created a whole challenge. It's called Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, and you're just going to see videos popping up being like, "How fast can I beat it to Unbeatable Squirrel Girl?" That's just going to become an internet challenge. You screwed up, Tristan. I know what I know.
Because like for people who don't know, for better or for worse, Squirrel Girl is technically powerful depending on what she's doing. She's beaten Doom, she's beaten Galactus, so much so that
Thanos.
But specifically for Doom is like she gave him PTSD because of squirrels. So anytime she shows up, he doesn't want anything to do with her.
Marvel. That's what we need in Doomsday. Portal opens, Squirrel Girl shows up, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom just runs away in fear. That's how the movie ends.
Unfortunately, they'd make it animated using their horrific animation style. One of their horrific animation styles. They have two, and it'll be in 6 frames a second, and people will somehow not see that.
But the story good, so forget the frame rate moving like a PS1 game. That's
because they'll double the frame rate to 12, and it'll be all choppy.
Yeah.
Man. As long as there's background characters, I guess that'd be nice for a Marvel thing.
Look, like whatever Marvel is canceling, and apparently some other series have been canceled internally as well that maybe were early in development. I just hope it's replaced with good stuff, and I think that's why this ties to our other conversation about the Defenders. I think they realized, Punisher is definitely getting a sequel series or a new series. I mean, it's so easy to do Punisher, Welcome Back, Frank. Like, what else?
I think he was getting one regardless, right?
Yeah.
Because like the only thing like what Frank does is uses guns, and if you have to use a like sci-fi gun, it's not that much different than point and shoot. So
yeah, exactly. So when we find out what happens with these, apparently they're just postponed. They might enter. They're going to try to reevaluate them. So there's still a chance. Funny enough, after this news hit, scoopers are still dropping scoops about these series like they're still happening. So like they might. Who knows?
Oh yeah, because now you can do it where no one's probably never going to see these shows, so I can just tell you anything what you want. No,
exactly. Like apparently Henry Cavill was going to play Annihilus.
In what? Nova?
Yeah.
I mean,
you can just make up stuff now, and it's like, well, I can't prove you wrong. So,
well, you know what time of the month it is, right? When the last week of February.
Oh, it is. Rent's due.
Every month you will get some random crap. No.
I mean, like Armin says, like technically he's not wrong because they could throw out casting left and right, and doesn't mean that it was locked down. It's just that his name was on the board.
On something, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
you play it how they always play it. So, this is an idea they were talking of. This might have been a thing at some point.
Yeah,
it didn't make the movie. It got cut. I wasn't wrong. Exactly. They just took it out.
Right. So with that in mind, again, we'll come back to this when we find out more about some of these series or what they morph into. And our final topic, Spider-Man 4. Obviously, the director, John Watts, is not returning from the other trilogy, from the home trilogy. He's moved on. He's done other things with Disney. He's got a new deal with Disney, so he's going to continue to work there. But with the new director, of course, director of Shang-Chi,
of course he is, yeah. But I say, who's making this movie now?
Now it's been reported this is a soft reboot of Spider-Man, which makes sense. Like,
I think technically from the last movie,
whole
it is.
trilogy, right, is over. That specific cast and story and arc is over. We're following a new Peter Parker extent. Well, pretty much nobody knows he's even Peter Parker, you know?
Yeah, everyone doesn't know who Peter Parker is, even though he has papers to prove that he existed. But it's if it's still contained from what people have been saying, it's mostly going to be a Spider-Man film. So,
like, I don't think some people are overblowing this, being like, but how are people going to know he exists or who's his identity? Somebody might have figured out. It's like, bro, there's multiverse characters running around in this universe, other dimensions. It's easy. Somebody could just be like, maybe he's escaped another universe and he's here now helping us. Cool. Like, it's
like you forget, like, the MCU now is getting, especially for New York anyway, is getting used to having otherworldly beings pop up on the constant. So it's not going to be a surprise that someone from another universe popped in and is staying here now, or a rock monster is in New York City sightseeing. So you guys forget that.
Don't call him a monster. That's mean. His name is Ben. It's totally
Ben the Rock Monster. There we go.
I was thinking of Ben Grimm, but okay.
Maybe.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, right? It's so people have only forgot. It's not like he's been wiped from the reality. It's just the people that knew him don't know him now.
Yeah,
right. It's not some massive. Well, for him, it's shattering, but it's not. Yeah. Reality hasn't changed. It's just their memory has gone.
Yeah, it's just he has no presence in where he's living at. So he's there, but no one knows who he is. It's just there's this kid that lives by himself in an apartment.
Yeah.
Well, so he's in New York, and he knew 5 people. So
yeah.
5 people forgetting him's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
he's also got no family, so
so like you use that whole thing as a reboot. You functionally reboot the tone in the new universe, the villains, his attitude. Obviously, he's grown. He's probably like a little bit more on his own now. Like, he doesn't have friends. Like, there's such an easy story here. It's it makes sense that you would kind of reboot it like this.
Also, Zendaya is going to be in the movie. Let's make no mistake about that.
Probably not a big role, but she'll be in it.
I don't know.
You think? Maybe bigger role?
I think probably about the same size role she's always had in these movies. But
and to be fair, they are now starting production this fall after they're both done shooting Nolan's new film.
Are they though?
Yeah.
Are they though?
Yeah.
They said they're starting for the last 2 years. So
that's true. It'll be interesting to see just how this picks up the pieces of wherever they're at, because the later they start, the further back they got to push the film. So if they're starting in reportedly September, that film is not coming out next July. That is scrapped. So it's probably coming out Christmas. If they start in December, they can get it out by Christmas because they did it with No Way Home. But that film is going to be patched at least 5 times again because it's going to be missing textures and shadows. So,
I mean, the one that was missing stuff was the one that made the most out of all of them. So,
true. Will that help this time, though, if there's no Toby or Andrew?
People, regardless, will absolutely see a Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah. $1 billion easily on it. It's a guaranteed hit.
So after how No Way Home ended, they could do literally whatever they want. People are going to want to know what happens next.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if it's slightly tonally different and it's not quite how it was before. Like, people are going to want to know.
I mean, if you want a $14 increase on that box office, you add Daredevil in, and then the 2 people that cheered in the theater when he showed up might get excited.
Oh yeah,
I was going to say 1 ticket extra.
$14. Is that one person that's like, that's clapping and other people. Who's that?
That's not even an IMAX ticket over here. That's kind
of it's like I can't remember what premiere of a movie I went to, but like they invited us and they were like, okay, just wear costumes, whatever. I was like, cool. I'll do my screen print Daredevil, right? And I remember all these Marvel fans that I see every midnight screening with, they were like, that Daredevil costume? I was like, yeah, from the TV series. There's a Daredevil TV series. I was like, bro, what? Like, I mean, these are the people that are in the know. You know, they're literally at all the premieres. So I was like, boy, this is awkward. People don't even know who he is. So I think this film is going to need a big name because Sony's going to want it in there. You know, like
what's probably like,
two MCU
what's probably going to happen is they'll get the new White Tiger in that movie. You'll have the one person that goes, yeah,
if he lives.
No, you get the Next Generation one in there.
No. That's why he dies in Daredevil Born Again, and Jenna Ortega takes over as the female White Tiger.
Yeah, and then you'll get that one fan that says, you know, that's clapping for her, and everyone's like, "Who's that?" And you get that again.
Just say me. Just say me. Just me sitting there in the theater. Oh, I love White Tiger.
If you clap for White Tiger, everyone knows you just it's a hype beast. There's no way. There's no way. Man ain't saying he's a fan of White Tiger. There's no way.
Even I'm like, I've read like 3 issues, and I think that's all they got to their name, and I'm like, I've had enough of White Tiger.
Which is great, fantastic, because there's not even 3 issues of White Tiger.
Exactly. The crossovers count. To be fair,
it's 3 issues of Daredevil that White Tiger was in. That's what it is.
Just watch. Dustin Daniel is going to take this film and just do the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, like Iron Fist, White Tiger, Sam Alexander. It's just gonna be like, here you go.
You forget Luke Cage was in that too.
Oh yeah, he was.
He was, yeah.
That series got so out of hand. By the end of it, you're like, what is happening here? There's like symbiote wars, and
it got out of hand when they put Daredevil and
Daredevil was in it? I don't remember.
Yeah, was it Deadpool was in it.
Yeah, that was probably the best episode that show. Deadpool was.
And the wildest one is that they put a kid-friendly Moon Knight in it.
Oh yeah, that I remember.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Daredevil was in it. What? Man, did I blank that out?
They did a lot. They did a lot of like kid-friendly versions of a lot of other characters.
You guys remember Agents of Smash?
Kinda,
vaguely. Yeah.
Yep. But
they should do. I know everyone's being like, oh, you know, bring in Kingpin and Daredevil for Spider-Man. Bring in Moon Knight.
Honestly, that could work.
We left that show off with literally the New York cabbie variant,
and it cost $175 million. Ain't no way it's getting a sequel season unless they can bring the budget down to 14 cents per minute.
Yeah, I think like with Agents of Smash, Agents of Smash, the only thing people remember of that show is it felt like an intern finally figured out how to do transitions, and they was doing transitions every couple seconds.
Yeah.
That one intern watched Ang Lee's Hulk. That's why.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, let's say hypothetically it's true. They're doing this soft reboot. Does that mean that? Obviously, it doesn't mean. But I've seen people ask it. Are they going to ignore what happened in the other films? Of course not. It's thematically picking up off of them. They're just changing how they approach.
It makes me die when people get like this. But they just hear the word reboot and they click into that mode in their brain.
Yeah.
Like, everything is gone. It's like no, it's like retcon. Retcon doesn't mean what people think it means. Like cameo.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily.
I think people get confused between like an actual reboot, soft reboot, and a retcon. And
people just don't have critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
It's like how people get confused with what is a remake or a remaster of a video game. And it doesn't help that the studios themselves also put deluxe remaster, but it's a complete remake. You're like, nobody can figure this out anymore. Like, that's the reboot symptoms you get and the problems. So it is what it is. But
basically, just don't worry about it. Wait till something comes out about the movie.
I was gonna say, I suppose they'll announce what it is in the press release. We're probably gonna get like the opening paragraph's gonna be like, Spider-Man swings back to the screen with a whole new take on the web crawler. A whole new, exactly.
It'll say like a whole new universe. People are gonna flip their shit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh.
A whole new reality. Like, no, why? Why are you doing this? I know why you're doing it because it's engagement bait, but why?
Right. Yep. Exactly. So stay tuned, everybody. We will be back soon enough to talk about Spider-Man when we get more news. It's going to start trickling in during the summer if they're starting in the fall. So we'll see. So stay tuned for that. And we'll be back with more Spider-Man. So that has brought us to the end of the main show. We do got a big topic for you guys. We're going to talk a bunch about Captain America 4 box office results and what's going on with the film and the future and everything. A little bit of spoilers, almost like a spoiler cast. So hopefully you guys join us for that. So have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will. And if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.